No, why do you keep doubting yourself? You know exactly what I'm talking about. That little voice that whispers you're not enough, that you'll mess it up, that people will notice you're pretending. And what if I told you, I that voice isn't the truth? That in the next few minutes you'll understand why confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you can build, even if you've spent years tearing yourself down. There's a hidden truth that almost no one tells you. Shush. Confidence isn't about walking into a room and feeling like you own it. It's about walking into a room and not caring who does. It's not a mask you wear to hide your fears. Hey, it's a deep, unshakable trust in yourself, even when you feel afraid. And here's the part most people never realize. Every single moment you hesitate, you're training your mind to believe you can't. Every single time you avoid the spotlight, you're teaching yourself that you don't belong there. Confidence is a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned. Like if you're willing to stop living in the shadow of who you could be. So, in the next few minutes, we're going to tear down the myths that have been holding you back. Now, we're going to break apart the idea that confidence is for other people and show you how it can be yours. Even if right now you feel like the quietest, smallest voice in the room. I want you to stay with me until the end because somewhere in this message is the one thing you've been missing all along. If you understand it, your whole perspective on yourself could change forever. For most of my life, I thought confident people were born different, like they came out of the womb ready to speak on stage, make friends with strangers, and never second guess themselves. I used to imagine they had some secret switch in their brain that I just didn't have. So I waited. I waited for the day I'd feel ready, the day my anxiety would disappear, and I'd magically step into the version of myself I always wanted to be. That day never came. And then something strange happened. I was sitting in class watching someone present their work in front of everyone. They were shaking, stumbling over their words, their hands fidgeting, but they kept going. And somehow everyone was still listening. That's when it hit me. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite the fear. Think about it. If you had to wait until you felt no fear to act, you'd never start. If you had to wait until you believed you were enough, you'd stay stuck forever. Confidence isn't about feeling ready. It's about deciding you're ready enough right now. It's like jumping into cold water. No amount of standing at the edge will make it warm. You just have to leap. And once you're in, your body adjusts. That's what happens when you act despite your fear. Your mind adjusts. You stop letting fear be the driver and you take the wheel back. If you take just one thing from this block, let it be this. The most confident people you know feel fear just like you do. They just don't let it decide for them. For years, I avoided mirrors, not because I didn't have one in my room, but because every time I looked, I didn't just see my reflection. I saw every insecurity staring back at me. The tired eyes, the awkward posture, the flaws that no one else probably even noticed, but that I thought were screaming to the world. And here's the truth. The way you see yourself in the mirror isn't the way the world sees you. We think the mirror is some kind of judge, deciding whether we're worthy to be confident, but really it's just glass. The real judgment comes from you. One day, I forced myself to do something uncomfortable. I stood in front of that mirror for 5 whole minutes. No phone, no music, no distractions, just me, staring into my own eyes. At first, it was brutal. My brain kept pointing out every flaw like it was a sport. But then, something unexpected happened. I stopped noticing the imperfections and started seeing a person. A person who had survived a lot, a person who was still standing, a person who deserved kindness, especially from themselves. Confidence starts in how you treat yourself when no one's watching. If the voice in your head is constantly tearing you down, you're building your foundation on sand. But when you learn to meet your own gaze and see someone worth respecting, everything changes. You stand straighter, you speak louder, You stop apologizing for existing. The mirror isn't your enemy, it's your training ground. Learn to stand in front of it and say, I'm here and I'm enough, even if you don't believe it yet, because the more you say it, the more your reflection starts to agree. There's a dangerous habit a lot of us have, one that quietly kills our confidence without us even noticing. We wait. We wait for someone to tell us we're ready, talented enough, worthy enough. We wait for the right moment to speak, to try, to step forward. And in that waiting, life just passes. I used to wait for teachers to call on me before I spoke my mind. I'd wait for friends to invite me before I made plans. I even waited for people to validate my dreams before I dared to take them seriously. What I didn't realize was this: no one is going to hand you the authority to live your life. If you're waiting for permission, you're giving away your power. Here's the secret: confident people don't act because someone told them they could. They act because they decided they could. Confidence is born the moment you stop asking, am I allowed to? And start saying, I'm doing it. Right? When you stop waiting for permission, you stop living on borrowed courage. You start building your own, and the more you do it, the more the world adjusts to your energy instead of the other way around. You don't need a certificate to speak up. You don't need a green light to take a chance. You don't need the world to agree with you before you move forward. The truth is, most of the people you admire didn't have permission when they started either. They just began. So here's your challenge. The next time you feel yourself hesitating, ask, who am I waiting for? And if the answer isn't me, then go. Just go. If you've made it here, you've already done something most people never do. You've given yourself time to grow. You could have clicked away after a minute. You could have distracted yourself, told yourself you'd come back later, and let this message fade into the noise of everything else online. But you didn't. You stayed. That means you're already different from the person you were when you pressed play. Confidence isn't a magic trait that just shows up one day. It's built in moments like this, quiet, small moments where you choose to listen, to reflect, and to take even one step forward. The world will always try to convince you that you need more proof, more approval, more readiness before you can start. But here's the truth: no one can give you the permission you've been waiting for. That's yours to claim. Imagine if you had stopped watching earlier. Maybe you'd still believe confidence was something you either have or you don't. Maybe you'd still be waiting for someone to come along and tell you you're enough. But now you know it's not about being fearless, it's not about being perfect, and it's definitely not about being born lucky. It's about acting, trusting yourself, and deciding that your voice matters now. Be proud of yourself for reaching the end. Most people never finish the things that could change them. You did. That's your proof that you can commit, you can follow through, and you can become the kind of person you've always admired. If this message hit you in the heart, drop a comment that says, I am the proof, not just for me, but for yourself. So that next time you doubt your worth, you can remember you've already started becoming the person you once thought you couldn't be. And now, take a deep breath. Let the silence sink in, because this isn't the end of the video. It's the beginning of who you're becoming.